Hey guys! Today I'll be doing a video called My First Time. And basically what that is just a list of all of my my firsts. My first kiss. So my first kiss, I was 15 years old, and it was up against a trash can, and it stunk, and it was on my birthday, and we had just gone on a date, me and this guy whose name I'm not gonna say just in case anybody knows him, but it was on my birthday and we went on a date, and it was on my birthday. I said that like 500 times because it was my birthday, and I paid, and then he ate my food, and then we walked back to school because basically I wasn't allowed to be in a car with a boy that much older than me, and because he was a junior and I was a freshman, and yeah, and then he stopped me by a stinky trash can and we kissed, and yep, I wasn't attracted to him. It was good. It was really good. My first pet was a fish, and he was a little itty bitty fish, and I called him George, and I'm fairly certain it was after George from like Harry Potter, like Fred and George, you know? Yeah. But yeah, my first one was a fish. There might have been two fish. Maybe I named them Fred and George, but I only remember George. And I remember that there was a little tiny snail. Little tiny snail. Okay, another one on this list is the first music I ever bought. And I do not remember the first music I ever bought. Like CD, like I couldn't tell you the first CD I ever bought. Although, I remember buying Beyonce's B-Day. I remember that. That could be it. I also remember that the first song I ever bought on my iPod was the song Oh Gravity by Switchfoot, because it was the theme song to the TV show Life of Ryan. Yeah, but I don't think either of those were necessarily the first music I ever bought, but I do remember buying both those early on in my music career. The first concert I ever went to was Ashlee Simpson, and I remember Ashley Parker Angel, that's a boy, for those of you who don't know, opened up for her, and I don't know if anybody watched it, but I remember he had his own TV show on MTV, and I totally watched it all the time. And I remember being at this concert, and I was young, I was fairly young, like it was before 6th grade. It was before 6th grade for sure. I was probably 10, and I remember looking around and seeing little kids there and being like, why are there little kids at an Ashlee Simpson concert? And I was 10 years old, there with my mom. My first gadget I ever bought, I don't know if I bought this with my own money, but I remember my first gadget I ever owned was, does anyone remember those things called hit clips? I had a little hit clip. I probably still have it somewhere in my house because I keep everything. And I remember I had a little Britney Spears hit clip, and everyone had them, and it was so cool. It was all the rage. My first word ever was dog, which is not surprising because a dog is probably my favorite animal. I say that it's a tiger, but it's really a dog. I really like dogs, so it's not surprising that was my first word. The first friend I ever had, besides my cousins Kyle and Blake, I think those technically were my real first friends, but other than them, it was probably my friend Katie Wagner, who lived across the street from me. Or no, I lived in a townhouse, and I remember that there was this boy who also lived in the townhouse. And I think he had a shaved head, and we'd ride our trikes together, and one time I think I fell off my trike, or he like pushed me off my trike, and I just had a big ol' scab right on my elbow. He was my first friend, I think. He must have been. So yeah, just kidding. So after Kyle and Blake, it was the boy who pushed me off the trike. My first celebrity crush was Leonardo DiCaprio, and I remember one summer we seriously like got Netflix for the specific purpose of me watching all of his movies that he's ever been in, ever. And then I made this poster that I have in my room. You can't see it on camera, but it's over by my door, and it's just all these like pictures and quotes of Leonardo DiCaprio. And yeah, no, still to this day, love of my life. Oh my goodness gracious. But some of his newer movies like J. Edgar and stuff, I still haven't seen them, and so now I feel like I'm not a proper fan. I feel like I've let him down. So if you see this, Leo, I'm so sorry that I let you down. I'm so sorry. And since you keep going for younger women, specifically models, I'll just do whatever it takes. I'll be a model. I'll be your next. You might be 40 and I might be 17, almost 18, but hey, 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 hey. For my first day of high school ever, my freshman year, I remember my first hour, I didn't have any friends yet except for my old friends from middle school, but like, I don't know. I ended up going into my class really, really early, and I sat in the front row, and later kids came in, like way later, and I was there for like ever all by myself, and all these kids then came in, and none of them sat in the front row with me. They all sat like way back. So there was like me in the front row, and then maybe a couple kids in the second row on the opposite side of the room from me, and then like everyone else went into the back. So I sat alone for most of the first semester until we finally had to do a partner project when I finally talked to some other girls who then I, you know, thought, man, we're gonna be best friends forever, and we weren't. Yeah, so that was that, and then my second hour was good, and actually some of the people in that class are like some of my best friends to this day, like Ashton and Ryan, so that's actually pretty cool, and actually Mary Joy is so wonderful too, and Isla. So a lot of those people are actually still in my life, so that was cool. So that was actually a successful first day, relatively. The class was successful, maybe the first day wasn't, but then yeah, and then I made it to my third, made it to my fourth, and I was like, I have not gotten lost at all in this big old high school, because I came from a very small, like, elementary school, middle school, and so I was like, man, I'm rocking it, and then I got so lost on the way to my fifth period, and I was so late, and I was just, like, running all over, and I could not find it, and I was so embarrassed, and I never asked anybody, and then I think finally a teacher that I still have never seen, so maybe it was a student who looked old, like, came up to me and was like, she wasn't very nice either. It was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm lost. And then I walk in, and like everyone turns and looks at me, and every single seat in the classroom is taken except for one spot. And I was like, oh my God. And then so I go and I sit next to that girl, and she was so sweet, and she was like, did you get lost too? So then again, I thought we're gonna be best friends forever. We're not friends at all anymore. Ever. We never really were, but she was very nice that day, and I really liked that she also got lost. Yeah, so that was my first day of high school. Now that I'm done telling you about all my firsts, I am gonna say this. Today was my last first day of high school. Today was the first day of my senior year, and I can't even believe it. Like, that freshman year story feels like yesterday, and now I'm a senior, and I'm so excited. Like, it was a whole different feeling from walking in as a freshman. So because of that, and because I've had such a positive, pretty much, like, I mean, whatever, I've had such a positive high school experience, I decided, what better way to, like, I just really want to cherish my senior year, and I figured what better way to do that than to document, like, all of it. So on my second channel, I'll put a link in the description, but I'm thinking I'm going to do either a daily or weekly, or I don't want to say monthly, I want to say daily or weekly, or like bi-weekly vlog of my senior year. And I'll just put them all on my second channel. So if you're interested in seeing like more day in the life type stuff of my senior year, then just go subscribe, and I'll put a link in the description. We get to look back on our senior year and be like, oh my gosh, do you remember those shenanigans we got into when we were kids? That probably won't happen at all, and I'm just gonna vlog my senior year, and it's gonna be so awesome. So